So we got a situation. We got a situation. And when I clicked on this video, I wasn't too sure if I was familiar with the American Sniper, Chris Kyle. I was trying to think, and I was like, is it the one that was riding around shooting out the back of the trunk? Or was that something else? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it'll jog my memory once we get into the video. Or maybe I'm confusing two separate things. All right. So this one here is when the cops catch the killer of American Sniper Chris Kyle. Let's get to it.
Got tons of people that are eating on my soul right now.
Get moving, somebody tell them! Oh my God!
I knew if I did not take out his soul, he was coming to take mine next.
Okay, clearly I was confusing two different situations, and yeah, I don't think I'm familiar with this one at all.
On the night of February 2nd, 2013, officers with the Lancaster Police Department respond to a call informing them that a suspect who committed a horrendous act was sitting in a stolen truck just outside his residence. Despite their efforts to coax him out of the truck, he suddenly takes off, leading police on a dangerous high-speed chase.
Get moving, somebody tell them! Oh my God!
As the suspect turns a corner, he can be seen jumping the curb and driving at dangerous speeds down a residential sidewalk. However, this is still only the beginning of the strange turns and bizarre events this case is going to expose.
He's going Midlothian. What?
On the service road, northbound on the service road.
The events leading up to this moment began hours ago when an emergency call was placed to Somerville County dispatchers.
911, where's your emergency?
Yes, ma'am. I need an ambulance out to Rough Creek Lodge and Resort.
Okay, Rough Creek Lodge. And what's going on?
I just had a report of two unconscious men out at my long-range shooting range.
Deputies arrived to find two deceased men with multiple gunshot wounds, lying near a scattering of shell casings. The suspect had fled the scene in a truck belonging to one of the victims, and his identity is unknown. The Texas Rangers are called to investigate and informed that one of the victims is a widely known public figure. Immediately, news of his death begins to spread like wildfire. The suspect would soon be identified, as his sister would call 911 to say her brother, 25-year-old Eddie Ray Routh, came to her home and confessed to the killings before fleeing once again. She then called her mother, Jody, who contacted Detective Chevra, Eddie's next-door neighbor and friend. Upon learning Eddie was involved, he races to his home to search for him. It isn't long before he pulls up to the home in the stolen truck with no intention of surrendering.
Watch it. He's got a rifle here. Careful.
Hey, fucking be great. He's got a light on him.
Huh?
Back it up. He's backing up. Hey, he got the gun. It's done. Got a light on him. Give me a light on him. Give me a light right on him.
In a situation that is only going to grow more tense, officers don't know yet that they've barely scratched the surface of this sinister case and its peculiar suspect.
Watch it. See. Eddie! Eddie!
Having to deal with this in the dark is next level, like crazy. Like the cops are in a sticky situation in the dark like that, trying to see inside the vehicle. So you shine on the light to try to see what type of movement is going on. Is he setting up to aim at y'all or what? Like,
Eddie! Turn it off, Eddie! Turn it off, Eddie! Turn it off! Eddie! Turn it off, please! Eddie! It's Sergeant Logan! Turn off the truck, guys. Come talk to you. Come on with your hands open, buddy. It's not worth it. I'm gonna shoot out the tires. Eddie! Don't get him excited. Eddie! Eddie, don't go nowhere! Eddie!
I don't think you shooting out the tires is gonna stop him if he decide to pull off. Fam was already driving reckless before. If he pull off, he ain't gonna care that the rubber is he gonna drive on the rim.
Eddie! Come on, guy. Eddie! Come talk to me. Come on out, Eddie! Come talk to us! Hey, keep it. Eddie, come talk to us! Come on, Eddie!
The officers appear on edge, knowing there are firearms inside the truck. Given his friendship with the suspect, officers quickly call on Detective Chevra to step in, seemingly hopeful that he may be able to de-escalate this outlandish situation.
Keep your hands right there, man. Hey, let TT talk. Let Jesse talk to you. Jesse, come here. Jesse, gonna talk to you. Eddie. All right, look, guys. I know this looks really bad right now, but we're all scared here too. Hey, do me a favor. If you can hear me clearly, just shut the truck off for a minute. Nobody talk to you, okay? Turn it off for a minute. Turn it off for a second. Turn it off and talk to me, okay? We're trying to figure it out right now, okay? We're trying to figure it out right now. So right now, the best thing for everybody is you step out of the truck with your hands open so we can see, everybody can relax, okay? Now, I want you to open the door very slowly and come out with your hands straight up and come talk to me, okay? I don't know that I can trust anymore, Jeff. Eddie, I don't want to hurt you, Eddie. Okay? We all grew up together here. Listen to me, buddy. Okay? This is going to be bad for everybody if you don't do as I asked you. Trust me, because your parents are going to get really hurt if we don't get this thing resolved peaceably, okay?
Detective Chevra continues pleading with Eddie, but his paranoid behavior seemingly has the other officers on high alert.
Throw me the keys out here as a gesture that you're not going to run off while I try to get them down here, make this trip, try to get down here, okay?
Get somebody to get a car around and get ready to block him. You hear me?
No, because
get somebody to get around there and fucking
Eddie.
block him if he goes take off.
Okay. Let me ask you this.
Somebody get the car around here and block it.
No, don't block it yet. Just get ready to block.
Okay.
Get ready to block.
Find that out together.
Who I can't trust in this world now.
Okay. You have no reason not to trust me here.
I can't trust him anymore.
What are you talking about?
There's no trust in this world anymore.
Uh-huh.
It went down so fast, I didn't really even have a chance to realize what was happening. And now I just don't even know if I can trust doctors, cops. I don't know.
What is he talking about? Apparently he can't trust nobody, down to even the doctors. What happened to him? What caused this for him to go off the ledge like that?
Well, the people...
I tried to talk to my sister today, and it was weird talking to them. I tried to talk to my uncle later this afternoon. It was weird talking to him.
After fleeing the crime scene, Eddie made multiple stops, details of which remain unknown for now. During the standoff, his seemingly unstable state of mind becomes increasingly evident.
Is this about like walking on Earth right now?
I'm not sure what you mean by that, but...
Walking on Earth with us right now.
Tell him he'll walk over to the house and talk to him. He'll get out with his hands up.
Mm-hmm. Well, what I'm trying to tell you is that I'll walk over here to your house or your front yard, and my hands will be open and your hands will be open, and we can talk about this, and we can call your mom and dad on my phone, and you can tell them that you need to see them.
None of my friends are in town anymore. I've been looking for all my friends.
While it appears Detective Chevra remains hopeful he can reason with Eddie, other officers consider a riskier approach.
See, this is why this world is crazy to me. Because people who you may consider normal and can snap at any moment. Listen to what he's talking about. Can't really talk to his parents. His friends aren't around anymore. Just different things that could have brought him to this breaking point.
Yes, and if I guarantee you that...
If he can roll the window down, and I'll hold the light on him if his knees up right there.
Okay, yes, you're...
Tase his...
If I get your parents on the phone and get them to come down here and get here in 2 hours, will you come with me and wait with you till they get there?
The two victims, who were close friends, were identified as 35-year-old Chad Littlefield and 38-year-old Chris Kyle, author of the best-selling memoir American Sniper. Chris had recently gained national attention due to the upcoming film adaptation of his book. Eddie's horrifying reasons for turning on them remain to be seen. For now, the focus shifts to de-escalating the baffling situation officers have found themselves in with Eddie, though their presence only seems to heighten Eddie's paranoia.
I've been watching it on the news for weeks, or, 2-3 days now, Jesse. The anarchy has been killing the world.
I'm going to call your parents, okay? But if they're going to agree to calm down, are you listening to me?
People sneaking around the truck. They need to stop sneaking around the truck.
I don't know what's going on. Give me a second, okay? Okay. But here.
Can I get that light off my face for a second?
Okay, but no, hear me out, okay? We need to see your hands, okay? We need to see that you are at peace and we can relax. What can help it? We can turn the light off if you'll do this. If you drop that window over and put your hands on the steering wheel, and then we can drop the light so we can kind of not put it in your eyes, okay?
I can't drop the window because then y'all win.
How do we win, Eddie?
If I drop the window far enough, y'all are going to take me out of this truck.
No, Eddie, no. I'm not going to walk up there and yank you out of the truck and not as anybody else either, okay?
I'm cranking it.
Eddie, don't do that. Let me call your parents.
We'll call them and get them on the phone and get them down here.
Okay.
Do you think he's going to roll the window down before you tase him?
I'm going to call, okay?
With the possibility that his parents may be able to calm him down, Detective Chevra gets Eddie's mother, Jody, on the phone.
Eddie, I'm going to tell her what we talked about, okay? Hey, Jody?
I don't know what's going on.
Okay. Eddie doesn't know what's going on. We don't know exactly what's going on either, but here's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get Eddie to come out of the truck and come with us, but here's the deal. Eddie said he will come out of the truck. If you guarantee you'll come down tonight and he wants to see y'all. I'm trying to talk to him into coming with me, be safe, secure till you get here so you don't have to rush and be worried about him, something happening. Because you can't tell what's going on here over the phone.
Well, I can't help him over the phone. If he will come with you, you can help him. Eddie says he will help you. You know he will.
I can't trust that, Mom.
Do you want to talk to Daddy?
Yeah, I want to. I don't even know if I can trust him or not.
Eddie, have I ever given you a reason not to trust me in anything?
Yes.
When?
These past couple of days, it's been getting so crazy around here, I don't know what to do.
Whatever the situation, I'm not going to guide you wrong. Okay? I'm not going to do that, Eddie. Only thing we can do at this point is go forward and go up with the situation up in a way that's going to be best for you, for your parents, me, everybody around us.
His dog.
And his dog?
Yeah.
Despite the combined efforts of Jody and Detective Chevra, Eddie still refuses to leave the truck. He's clearly on edge, and it won't be long before his paranoia will reach a breaking point.
Do y'all have any guns?
Do we have guns? Well, we have to. It's our job.
I do too. It's my job.
Okay. Well, that's a good possibility you do, but we don't want...
Now, the one cop was talking about tasing him. I don't know. Because if he got a weapon in his hand and you tase him, he mess around and let it off. You gotta, I'm guessing you would need to make sure his hands are free before you do it, right? That might be the way to go. I don't know.
Want to show our guns or you don't want to show yours?
We don't need that.
No, we don't. There you go. See, we agree on the same thing.
Well, if that's not a problem, then I'm going to crank this truck and move forward.
Eddie, don't do that, Eddie.
I can't keep sitting here watching these cats scurry by and they're moving all around me that I don't even know about.
Eddie, don't crank that truck up because I know you probably want to go to your house, but I'm worried that before you get to your house, you will make a decision and keep going. And we don't want to do that, Eddie.
A sudden movement by Eddie sets the surrounding officers on high alert.
Tell him he'll walk through the house.
Hey. Eddie, what's that? You got a phone?
Yes, sir.
Tell him you'll walk through the house with him. Yeah, where'd you hold up if you started to start shooting?
He's on the phone with somebody. He's on the phone with somebody.
Looks like he answered it.
Brett.
Do you think that door's locked? Ray.
Yeah, he lost it.
He's on the phone.
He reached up and lost it.
He has a phone now.
Though the officers were unaware at the time, the cell phone Eddie answered did not belong to him. On the other end of the line was a man named Chet, attempting to reach one of the victims, Chad Littlefield. In a later interview, Chet explains the chilling encounter.
I picked up the phone and called Chad. Immediately he picked up the phone. It was that, first thing, and he knows my name, and I don't know if that's why, or he picked up the phone, and I said, Chad, this is Chet. What is going on? Is everything okay? And he answered back, what do you mean, what's going on? And I said, I noticed the voice wasn't Chad, and I said, this is not Chad. I said, who is this? And he said, this is Eddie. And I said, oh, I'm sorry, Eddie, I must have their old phone number. And hung up.
And tell me how it is that you know Eddie.
Well, his sister used to babysit my kids. I know his mom and his dad. His mother teaches at my kids' school. And if I would have only known that was Eddie Ralph on the end of the phone that I talked to.
While Chet's connection to Eddie is clear, the relationship between Eddie and the victims, Chad and Chris, remains a mystery. How they ended up together this fateful night and what transpired between them will soon come to light. In the meantime, Eddie has been in the truck for nearly 30 minutes, and the tense situation is moments away from exploding into chaos.
Have you thought of anything that would maybe work this thing out to where we could kind of, me and you go together and then wait for your mom and dad? Excuse me, I got some gas here. Have you thought of anything? Till somebody blocked that car off.
It's turning.
Okay. Can you just make sure that don't do me a favor, Eddie? I'm not trying to.
I hope they're in position. With all of this time, him leaving is not a good thing. After they already know what he's done, they cannot let him leave this spot, right? So I hope by now they're all in a position to where if he make a move, they could subdue him, they could stop the vehicle and protect anybody else from dying at the hands of him tonight.
Treat you like a kid, but we want to relax and we don't want to misinterpret something. Just kind of keep your hands up the way you've been doing, and just so we can see and we can all relax a little bit, okay?
First, we need to make sure that we doesn't invite them this way on the
Well, no, because then we can't hear you if you try to call me because it's so loud. This diesel's so loud. If I need you, I'll turn it off and talk to you. Eddie. 5 minutes, Eddie. Okay?
Without warning, Eddie steps on the gas and flees the scene.
I get they weren't trying to trigger him, but they should have been in position or something, man. Now, if he rides off and kills somebody else, then that's a life that could have been saved, prevented.
10 minutes later, the vehicle's tires are damaged from the stop sticks that the officers had placed. The vehicles come to a complete stop immediately after.
It's going to be all right, Eddie, okay? Just calm down. I know we don't either, but we're going to work this thing out, okay?
Let's come on, Rod.
We've already covered.
I don't understand what the world is.
As Eddie is checked for injuries by paramedics, an officer poses an important question.
Eddie, why'd you run?
I put out the panicky back. Come up, Eddie.
I don't know if that's something that's going on right now. I can't even sleep zone out. I was raised in, you know.
With Eddie secured in custody, he's brought to the station for an interview. While he awaits questioning, Eddie begins to speak to an officer sitting off camera. His bizarre comments hinting that the following interrogation will be anything but ordinary.
Everybody knows me the right thing to do this, so you know what I mean?
What you said?
The right things and the wrong things to do in the world.
Yeah.
There is certain things you gotta start doing. I just hope my mom and dad aren't too late, you know? To see it.
They won't be.
Why is this world? Why?
Eddie.
Why didn't we see it coming before?
But you know what? You're asking questions that have already been asked many times. And the world keeps going.
Ranger Briley soon enters, appearing ready to get to the bottom of today's tragedy.
Came in, talked with you a little bit this evening, and I know you've had a rough time.
I have been having a pretty rough time of it, you know?
I just want to sit in here and visit with you and talk to you about it and see what I can do.
Is there anywhere I can get these taken off? Back up?
I'll have to talk to these guys about doing that. Still trying to find out a lot of stuff, but
me too.
Let me.
I'm trying to find out more about the world that I've been living in too.
Ranger Briley next.
What is he referencing? Like, what happened in the world that triggered him? Was it something with the government, election? Like, what happened? What happened? This is what's the date on this? Was this? I need to see when this took place so I can wrap my mind around the time, what was happening around that time.
Next reads Eddie his Miranda rights, but his response is only the beginning of the unsettling answers that soon follow.
You understand those rights? I go around and talk to people a lot, and
I never knew that counseling was more, counseling between men and women needed to be more heavy in the world than it did. But when you're surrounded on all fronts where you begin, you can't just start in one place, you know.
Right. You understand those rights, and you're okay with talking with me, right?
Well,
You fine with that?
I've been living with somebody with their hand on my whole life.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And I'm not okay with that. That is not right.
Somebody doing that to you.
It's so sad how it had to happen and stuff, you know, and how it did happen.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
I just wish it would stop, you know. If there are world councils that can speak about this,
there has to be.
There has to be, to keep people accountable.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Evidently, you know?
You're right.
For stuff like this that people that you can't walk on common ground with because they never walked on the same ground with you, you know what I mean?
Right.
With Eddie making little sense, Ranger Briley appears to formulate an idea for what could possibly explain his odd behavior.
Was there a time today you used any drugs?
Yeah, I did use some tobacco today.
Yeah, I was kind of looking at your eyes a little bit constricted. I thought maybe you might have used some methamphetamine or something today.
I had not.
Oh, you have not?
I did not.
Okay. Have you used
That's why I've been having such a hard time sleeping, because I haven't been taking drugs, and I can't sleep at night.
Though Eddie claims that he hasn't consumed substances aside from tobacco, the question was likely posed due to what was uncovered during a search of his residence. Among the items found in his home were a blue jean jacket with possible bloodstains, firearm ammunition, and a small box containing paraphernalia.
Was there a bong, like a drug bong, in some of your stuff?
Tobacco.
Is that what was in the bong? Is that true or not? I don't know. You know, you have to be truthful with me. If it wasn't, just be truthful. What was in that bong?
There's probably some pot in there too, you know. A little bit of pot.
All right. And what else?
You know, can't trust anything in Texas with weed in it because it's usually laced up so tied with different drugs.
Had you used it today?
Yeah.
And you're being truthful with me?
Yes, sir. I smoked a little bit today. I've got so many abandonment issues and trust issues here that I don't know what to think, you know. And I've been having these problems in my town since I was growing up, you know, since a boy. I'm trying to fix this that's wrong in our country right now. Evidently, the Communism Party wants to run rampant in America. The communism times are here upon us, you know. The Reds are already eating up all the Indians. We know that. It's a tragedy. It's the ones that can't eat the Indians that want to, you know. That we're going to have problems about.
Eddie would later admit that he thought his neighbors were bloodthirsty savages and cannibals, and believed that his excrement would travel to his neighbor's home through the sewers, where his neighbor would eat it. As Ranger Briley continues to navigate Eddie's confusing rhetoric,
I was not expecting that. I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't ready for that, and I wasn't expecting that. He thought his what went where and was eaten? Wasn't on my bingo card. It wasn't on my bingo card at all.
The focus of the conversation shifts to the crime that brought them here in the first place.
I want to talk about what happened. And you can start with when you woke up today.
Well, you know, I keep talking to Chris, you know. I keep talking to Chris in my world. And it seems like every time I talk to another man named Chris, I just get sent to another man named Chris. I think about talking to the wolf, you know, to the one in the sky. The ones in the sky are the ones that fly, you know what I mean? The pigs in the world. They can truly say they're pigs. I've been smelling it this whole time, you know. I'm just tired of everybody bull. I can smell bull pig, you know. I can tell the difference between two different kinds of pigs. I don't know about how you can smell your. I mean, I'm not trying to say nobody stinking, but stinking, you know what I mean?
And what exactly happened today after you woke up?
I'm finally getting rest. Peace in my mind, you know?
Yeah.
Pieces of my mind back that I won't ever get back.
Where are you from, Eddie? I mean, I don't know you. You understand that? I don't know where you're from.
I was born right here in this land, in Lancaster that we're standing in today. Lancaster, Texas.
In an interview with Eddie's parents, his mother, Jody, begins to elaborate on her son's history as a United States Marine and the experiences that would later entwine tragically with the fate of the two victims.
I believe after 9/11 happened, he really wanted to serve his country. I say I believe because he never told me that straight forth. After it happened, he really became more patriotic and cared more about his country, and he wanted to serve. And he looked at the Army and looked at the Marine Corps and decided he wanted to be a Marine. He was out of high school for, I think it was only 10 days. He graduated, and 10 days later he was on a plane to boot camp.
What did you do in the Marine Corps?
I worked as a prison guard, and I worked on the gun, so it's like tit for tat, you know?
Eddie's work as an armorer and prison guard was served overseas in Iraq, where his father, Raymond, explains he went on several combat missions.
He really didn't want to talk about it when he got back.
Yeah.
Like most of them do. The only time I could get anything out of him when he was drinking. And then I could get some stuff out of them, but it wasn't very much.
Who's saying who's right and who's wrong? You know, nobody wants to admit that they're right. Nobody.
Like, that's why I think after those tours that they serve, and they should come back, and it should be mandatory, like therapy, because of the PTSD, man. Like, they really need to sit down and unpack everything that they went through over there. Like, that should be mandatory. Like, meaning you land off the plane and immediately start going to those sessions. Because if you give a person an opportunity to just do it themselves, they may not do it. And they just may hold that stuff in until it comes out. And by then, it's too late.
Wants to admit that they're wrong. I'm the only man that can change it.
Yeah.
That's why these are behind my back right now.
Yeah.
It was when Eddie returned from a volunteer mission in Haiti after the earthquake of 2010 that they began noticing significant changes in his mental state.
He was there for, I want to say, almost 6 months.
6 months. Do you remember any letters he wrote you, telling you what was going on there?
Yeah, he was telling us he's picking up dead bodies with a grappling hook, dragging them out of the water, and then throwing them in the front end loader, and then loading them up in the dump truck, and then putting them in a grave.
They further explained that when Eddie returned, he began having nightmares and flashbacks. What truly alarmed them, however, was his apparent descent into dangerous delusions.
That makes sense of him saying earlier, I can't sleep. I don't sleep anymore. Hence the drug usage. Trying to take something to make him go to sleep that probably had a different effect on him. Hence him saying everything that's laced in the drugs in Texas, with him talking about that. Like, now everything he was saying before wasn't kind of making sense and it was all over the place. Now it's starting to make sense as to what he's saying. You could piece it together a little more.
He asked me like to feel of his muscles, and I felt of his muscles, and he said, they're going away, Mom. My muscles are going away. They're disappearing. I said, well, son, you know, you're fine. Your muscles are fine. And he said, no, I got a tapeworm and it's eating me alive.
Eddie soon began expressing thoughts about. At the VA hospital, he was diagnosed with PTSD, prescribed medication, and released back into the care of his parents. However, he would soon return to the hospital, as Eddie's rampant paranoia would only escalate, and the next time, it wouldn't be his own life he would threaten. Meanwhile, Ranger Briley has yet to uncover how Eddie wound up at the firing range with Chris and Chad, likely prompting his next question.
How did you meet Chris?
He was the one that was protecting the schools. My mom, she was a teacher.
School teacher.
Now, when I finally met the guy, I could smell him, you know. I smelled it for what he was worth. I was like, no.
What's his last name?
He was a Kyle.
Kyle?
Yeah, he was Kyle.
And what's that other guy's name?
I couldn't even remember.
When was the first time you met the other guy?
First time I ever met either one of them was yesterday. I didn't know who they were or not, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
I knew who they were, but I didn't know, you know, who they were.
Okay.
It's very evident now who they were because I'm obviously here on the top side of the world, so
yeah.
They're not.
The revelation that Eddie knew neither of the victims further deepens the mystery of how they ended up at the firing range together. The devastating truth would soon be revealed. For now, Ranger Briley further questions Eddie, while his answers continue to blur the lines of reality.
How did you meet them? Did you meet them at your house, or did...
They came and got me at my house, so...
And then where did they take you?
We drove down into the country out there, and then they, went and did some shooting sports, you know.
What kind of shooting sports?
Well, I imagine they're headhunters, you know. Trying to hunt everybody down. They did them wrong before, you know. I'm not trying to hunt down anybody that I did wrong. Are you?
I'm like, you know, I try to be as reasonable and normal as I can.
I try to be as normal and as reasonable as I can every day, and I think about it every day, and I'm like, I'm pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
I'm pretty fair.
Right. What happened out there today on at the shooting sports? What kind of guns?
I was reasonable and fair with them boys, you know. They looked at me in the eyes, and I looked at them in the eyes, and then...
And what happened to them today is from your perspective?
Well, I can't just keep eating my soul up about this, you know.
You're right.
And you can't just keep letting people eat your soul up for free, you know. It's not what it's about. It's about having the soul that you have in you for yourself. And I still got tons of people that are eating on my soul right now. I haven't even been able to sleep because I've been waiting for them to come back and get my soul.
Despite continued outpatient treatment with the VA hospital, Eddie's paranoid behavior continued to decline.
I don't know what he went through or what he saw, but it messed him up. It messed him up, bro. There's no way he should have been released from under the government's care without being seen, talked to, evaluated. Oh, it's no way. And maybe he was okay when he got back and it got worse over time. But it should be some follow-ups that occur.
As his father Raymond explains.
He was at the lake and he started talking about a demon coming out in him. And then he started telling me he was a vampire, and then he told me he was a werewolf. And I looked around one time and he had my pistol. I had to go get my pistol away from him. I unloaded it and put it in the trunk. Went back out there, he had it again, and I took it back away from him, and I took all my bullets and threw it in the lake. Because he was saying he wanted. And I asked him why. He was going, Dad, I don't know. There's something in my head telling me I need to go. And I said, well, son, you can't do it on my watch. You know, a dad can't watch his own son die.
Eventually, Eddie's mental state reached a dangerous breaking point. Jody describes one terrifying incident on January 17th, just 2 weeks before the shootings, in which he held both his girlfriend and her roommate Jen hostage.
So he was over there with her, and he just became very paranoid that somebody was trying to get in and hurt her and her roommate. And Jen kept saying, nobody's trying to get us, you know, we're fine. And then he went and got a knife from the kitchen and was guarding the door. Said he wasn't about to let anybody hurt her. He'd hurt her first before he let someone else hurt her.
According to the roommate's statement, Eddie made multiple threatening comments and refused to let either of them leave. She secretly sent texts to her friend, who contacted the police. They arrived shortly after, arresting Eddie.
It was actually a former Marine police officer that came, and she told him that she wasn't as fearful for herself as she was for him. She was more afraid for his safety. So he transported him over to Green Oaks Hospital there in Dallas, and they kept him overnight, and the next day, and on Monday, they transferred him over to the VA.
Eddie was discharged from the VA hospital the following Thursday, January 31st, just 2 days before the tragic shootings took place. As the interview continues, Eddie's confused.
Now, why was he released? Clearly. See, that be making me think they're either overworked and don't have enough people there to be able to see everybody and give each person the individual proper attention. They don't have enough employees. Then that makes me think about all the firings that took place earlier this year and everybody who was talking about the VA and what was happening to people. This is scary, because if we don't have the people to see about people to accurately evaluate them and give them the attention and time that they need, these are people that you've sent over to defend us. Why don't we have the time for them when they come back? Or the adequate amount of people? This is a problem, because clearly he did not need to be released.
Using explanations continue to muddy the events at the firing range.
What did these guys say to you today when you were with them? What did they tell you?
They didn't really talk to me about much, you know. They were just talking about a common man, you know.
Yeah, tell me what they said to you.
Well, you can't walk around as a common man in a world of stakes, you know.
Is that what they told you?
If that's what the world has seen me as.
I want you to tell me
or a mistake. I'm not a mistake. I'm tired of missing out on my life because of it.
I want you to tell me what these men told you today, these heroes you were with. Tell me what they told you today.
Well, they're telling me about, stuff they've done, stuff that they've experienced and stuff. Well, I've already seen that stuff on the other side of the pond.
You have?
Yeah. And I came back to this one, and it's happening more and more rampant, even more here in Lancaster than anywhere.
Mm-hmm. And how are they helping you today?
Who's that? Which men?
The men that you killed. How were they helping you today when they were talking to you?
Talked to me pretty about it, Pretty.
What did they say?
Neither side was being nice about it,
Though Eddie's explanations remain unclear, his mother Jody was able to explain the heartbreaking truth of how he came to meet Chris and Chad, and what they may have been doing together at the firing range.
It was the day he ended up getting out of the hospital. Chris Kyle's children went to the school where I work, and he would drop them off every morning where I had duty. And I knew he helped veterans with PTSD. So I opened the car door when his kids got out, opened the front door, and I said, "Hey, Mr. Kyle, do you still work for, the company that helps veterans with PTSD?" And he said, "Yes, ma'am, I do." I said, "Well, my son's very sick, and he really needs help, and we're just not getting the help we need at the VA." I explained to him kind of what had been going on with Eddie, a lot of the things I just told you. And I said, he just needs help so desperately, and I don't know what to do anymore. He said, "Ms. Routh, I will do everything in my power to help your son." And I started to cry because I was happy that somebody, some person that I don't really even know, it was.
She gonna need to talk to somebody, because now she gonna be feeling and living with the guilt that if she never asked him, he would still be alive. If she never asked him to talk to her son, would he possibly still be like? She's gonna need to talk to somebody now. Do you see how this is going?
I was willing to help my son. And he said then, he goes, "I'm going to get together with Eddie this weekend." And I said, "That'll be good. That'll be really good." And the next day was the 2nd of February. And I didn't even know really that Mr. Connell was coming to get Eddie. But they had talked and set this up to go out to the gun range.
While on the way to the firing range, Chad...
I don't understand that either. Why would you take somebody who's unstable and take them to a gun range of all places? Like, that would be the last place that I would think somebody unstable needs to be. Around firearms, be close to that. Like,
Chad and Chris would send text messages to one another. The haunting details of what they discussed would soon send chills down the investigators' spines. In the meantime, though, the mystery of how they met Eddie is resolved. The question of why he shot the two men remains to be seen.
What you did today is wrong, right? You understand that?
Yes, sir.
What do you think should happen?
Nothing. Keep covering it up forever.
That's the reason you fled, right? Because you knew it was wrong?
Well, I knew that there was certain that was wrong about it.
Some of that certain was killing him. You knew that was wrong. Right?
Right.
And you knew driving away, taking that truck was wrong. And where did you drive to after that?
Well, if I was so right, I should have just stayed.
Although Eddie will soon reveal his motives, his cryptic explanations will leave investigators struggling to make sense of them. For now, the puzzling details surrounding the incident finally begin to come together.
How many times did you shoot them today?
A couple few.
A couple few?
A couple few shots were fired.
How close were you to them?
Hell, I was right up close to them. I didn't mean to be so close, but...
Did they know you were going to shoot them? They didn't know? Why do you think that?
Because their training wasn't as good. I training's been better, my whole life.
While they may not have known Eddie's intentions, they were wary of his behavior. At 2:30 p.m., Chris sent a text to Chad saying, "This dude is straight up nuts." Chad responded, "Sitting behind me, watch my six," which is military slang for watch my back. Soon after, Eddie opened fire. Chris and Chad were each shot 6 times at close range, with some shots being fired after they'd fallen to the ground. Eddie then fled the scene, making several stops afterward. Eddie first went to his Uncle James' house, where he showed him the firearm used to shoot the men, with claims he was driving a dead man's truck. Next, he stopped at his sister's house, where he confessed to the horrific crimes. He then went to his house to pick up his dog. From there, he visited a Taco Bell restaurant before finally returning to his house, where the standoff began. In a haunting confession, Eddie finally shares his twisted reasons for pulling the trigger.
Who did you shoot first? The ones that I could identify with better. Clearly identify. The one that I could clearly identify, I knew if I did not take out his soul, he was coming to take mine next. Or one of his gangsters was coming to take one of my souls next. One of his kids' gangsters.
As the interview ends, it appears as though a few questions still linger on Ranger Briley's mind.
You tried to run from the police. I heard them talking to you, trying to get you to give up. What I heard them saying is, just come get out. Surrender, right?
That's what they're saying.
Why weren't you compliant? Because of what happened? Okay.
Yep.
What do you want to tell your mom?
I love her.
What do you tell your sister?
I love her too.
Do you wish this had never happened? Seem like you want to cry about it.
I do a little bit.
I see the water in your eyes.
Yeah.
If you could take it back, you would?
As Ranger Briley leaves the room, Eddie once again chats with the officer just off camera, sure to leave him with a lasting impression.
So is there anybody we can talk to about getting these cuffs off and let me get a smoke, or?
That dude that just left, that's who's gonna be doing all the talking to.
We might have to go outside and smoke some, so.
You ain't got no cigarettes?
I'll have some before long. It's only a matter of time,
Where you gonna get cigarettes from?
They're coming.
Well, can you get some Blue Hell ice cream coming too?
Yeah.
Hell, I ain't eating all night.
You got plenty to eat on there. I don't got nothing to eat on, I haven't eaten none of my soul today. Everybody just keeps eating off my soul. So, for that I say, y'all can eat my and die. Try to eat my soul. Eat and die. When pigs fly, eat and die.
Charged with 2 counts of capital murder, Eddie is soon transported to the county jail to await trial. According to court documents, he was overheard by a deputy saying, "I shot them because they wouldn't talk to me," adding, "I'm sure they've forgiven me." Eddie entered a plea of not guilty by reason of insanity. At his trial, experts presented conflicting views, some supporting and others questioning Eddie's state of mind during the incident. The jury ultimately found him guilty of 2 counts of capital murder, and on February 24, 2015, 25-year-old Eddie Ray Routh was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole and ordered to pay $116,250 in restitution. Though he appealed the conviction in December 2015, the sentence was upheld. He's currently imprisoned at the Texas Department of Criminal Justice in Rocheron, Texas.
Listen, I hope he gets the help he even though he's in prison. I hope he can see somebody and talk to somebody while he's in there, man. And that'll be good for both sides. The ability to identify this stuff, what people are going through, how to deal with it, how you know what I mean, how to receive it, all that type of stuff. Because he's not the only one. It doesn't stop with him. A lot of people get deployed and come back and are not the same. Not the same. You probably know somebody right now that you're worried about. Get them some help. Please. Y'all be safe though.